Howdy, 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 and welcome to the Red Dirt Aggie Show. I'm Brian, the Red Dirt Aggie, and I'm here today with Hayden Haddock. What's going on, man?
Hey man, not much. How's it going? I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man, we're excited to have you here, and of course, with you being an Aggie, it's always nice to have Aggie stop by the Red Dirt Aggie Show. But yeah, we like what you're doing musically as well, and being an Aggie never hurts. But why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and kind of just give a little background?
Yeah, man. Well, like you said, obviously my name is Hayden Haddock. I'm a country singer-songwriter from Texas. Obviously went to Texas A&M. And yeah, I guess I got started doing the whole music thing actually when I got to Texas A&M my freshman year. Um, I guess coming up on 6 years ago now. And basically, I learned to play the guitar when I was like 14, but never would play in front of my family or friends. I was a super shy kid growing up. That's why if you talk to any of my family or close friends about my music stuff today, they still can't believe that I'll get on a stage in front of people and sing in front of people. But anyway, so learned to play the guitar, and yeah, I got down to A&M freshman year, and as you probably could have guessed, I was dating a girl at the time, and she found out I could play the guitar. My roommate told her that I could play really well and sing and all this stuff, and so she, wanted me to play her a song, and so finally I gave in, and kind of without me knowing it, my roommate was around the corner and recorded it and put it out on Snapchat or whatever, and was sending videos to my family. So I ended up playing my very first show a month or two later, actually at a very small little jazz club in Dallas, and been doing it ever since. Been working hard at it ever since, and luckily things have gone relatively well, and so we're going to keep at it and see where this thing goes. And it's been a blast doing
And you mentioned Dallas, and I see the Rangers hat on there.
it.
But are you from the Dallas area originally before landing at A&M, and then?
Yeah. I grew up in the Dallas Fort Worth area, like Garland, Plano area. So lived there for a while, obviously growing up, and then and then moved on to College Station, and now living in here in Nashville, Tennessee. So
Yeah.
been moving around a little bit.
But yeah, obviously heading out there to be around for working on your writing music and stuff out there in Nashville. Um, but what was it that really made you or inspired you to want to become a musician just in the beginning? What really got you into music?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was actually, I remember vividly, it was so growing up, I guess around that age, like 13, 14, 15 years old, my dad, he was a huge Kenny Chesney fan. And so for Christmas every year, he would get me and my family tickets to go see Kenny Chesney at AT&T Stadium. And one of the years, it was Eric Church was his opener, and it was back in Eric's like straight up Chief days, the glasses, ball cap,
Yeah.
shaggy hair, like all that. And I remember he opened the set with his song "Creepin'," and it was all this, lights and fire and smoke, everything going on. It was badass. And so I remember leaving there, and I told uh told my family like, hey, like I want to learn how to play the guitar. I want to take guitar lessons. And so of course my dad was like, well, I ain't buying you a guitar because I know you're gonna pick it up for a week and then never touch it again. So I ended up talking him into buying me a cheap Yamaha guitar that I learned on for a couple of years. But so now it's funny
Right.
looking back on that. But yeah, to answer your question, it was seeing Eric Church on that opening slot for Kenny Chesney, and it was just such a high energy performance. And I remember he was playing his Gibson Hummingbird. That's a super slick looking guitar,
Right.
even from the nosebleeds. And anyway, so it was just kind of all that put together was a huge inspiration, and definitely is what got me interested in trying to pursue that.
You still got the guitar, your first guitar?
Sadly, I do not, and I
Oh.
sold it. I know I sold it to put the money towards my first like nice guitar. It was a Taylor I got. This was years ago now,
Right.
before I even got to college. But now, obviously, looking back on it, it was a $200 guitar new, so I probably got $100 back for it. So now I wish I would have just kept it, But
Yeah, but at the time, it's like you got to do what you got to do.
I know I wish I had the serial number or something to track it down.
Track it down. But what's your favorite part of creating music or of the whole music creation process?
Man, I would say I'm a huge fan. Especially like in the writing process, I'm a huge fan of like having an idea, and I love to co-write. I don't really like writing by myself all that much, and I love to co-write because you can have an idea and you can sit down with another person or two or three other people, and it's cool to hear, although in your head this idea might mean one thing or make you think of one thing, but it's cool to hear how it, someone else may kind of take that idea or concept, and then you can kind of twist and turn it, and it becomes this whole other thing that you weren't thinking about at first when you came up with the idea or whatever. So if that made any sense, that was a weird way to get
No,
to my
it
point.
does, and
But
then no, it does, and then what's interesting, you say that, and then it might mean something completely different to the listener too,
right,
to everyone else who listens to
yep,
it, and it's where it's you want it to be specific enough to where someone can relate to, but broad enough to where it can relate to a bunch of different things, and I think that's
yeah,
kind of what makes for a hit song.
yeah. I think that's the cool thing about music as a whole is, yeah, everybody can kind of interpret it their own way depending on what's going
Yeah,
on in your life or what you've been through or whatever it may be. So
yeah, and you can even break it down, line by line, where one line almost has its own
right,
meaning, even though the whole song might mean something different. I
right.
think that's cool. But what would you say is the hardest part of being a musician? Is it creating that new music, or just getting it right in the studio, performing, travel, anything like that?
Yeah, I would definitely say without a doubt the hardest part is the traveling and being gone, from your loved ones. And especially, I mean, even when it's a couple days or 3 or 4 days, whatever. I mean, you don't think it sounds too tedious or like it'd be too hard, but when you're doing it every weekend or whatever, it becomes it can take a toll, and it can definitely take a toll on relationships and
Right.
with significant others, but even with your family, with your pets. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, being hard is definitely probably the hardest part, but obviously that is, if you want to be in this business, you got to kind of learn to nut up and just take it on the
Yeah.
chin and do what you can to get through.
Yeah, man. And well, and just it's got to be tiring as well. Just traveling all the time,
Yeah,
right?
no,
Like,
it can be. Yeah, it can definitely be tiring. The long rides on the road, that gets kind of old after a while. But I still, that being said, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's again,
mm,
it's obviously a huge part of this business, and you might drive 9 hours, but that hour and a half you spend on the stage would be the best hour and a half of your life.
yeah,
So it all ends up being worth it. And
yeah,
obviously, there's worse jobs to have in this world. So we're
yeah.
very fortunate.
Who are some of your biggest influences when you were starting out, as well as maybe some artists that you are inspired by that are currently in the industry right now?
Yeah, I'd say some in the industry kind of right now that are pretty relevant. Obviously, Cody Johnson, he's a big one for me,
Right.
especially being a Texas guy. I mean,
Oh yeah.
my brother introduced me and my family to Cody stuff back when I was probably 15 years old, and then so me and my whole family, grandparents, aunt, uncle, parents, everybody, we would all go to Cody Johnson concerts. We've seen him at Billy Bob's, seen him out in Fort Worth, at Panther Island Pavilion, all this stuff. So seen him a few times, so he's obviously a huge inspiration. Great songwriter, great performer, all that
Yeah.
stuff. And his kind of style of music is kind of up my alley, that more traditional side of stuff. And another one would be John Party. I
Oh
think
yeah.
uh, I think he's just awesome. Again, same, that kind of more traditional style of country music. And even though he was kind of like a Nashville guy from the get go, kind of unlike Cody, I think he's done a really good job of keeping, country music at least somewhat
Keeping it
alive
pretty
over here.
traditional sounding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then other than that, I grew up listening to just a ton of 90s stuff. I'm
Oh
a
yeah.
huge 90s fan.
Yep.
Again, I love, Merle Haggard and all that, but the whole 90s stuff's more my speed. The Tracy Lawrence, Tracy Bird, Clay Walker, That's what really speaks to me. So I know people get not pissed off, but we'll have some older folks at our shows because we do a lot of '90s stuff throughout
Yeah.
our set, and they'll come up, where's the Merle Haggard? Where's this? And I'm like, I don't know, I like to play the '90s stuff. Sorry.
But the beans belong in Chile. You see you're a Texas guy. The beans belong in Chile.
I say yes, and I know that is not the Texas thing, but I don't know if you happen to see. It's funny you asked me because I just posted a chili video like last week, and people were commenting all over it because I put beans in it, and they're like,
Right.
"Well, you're obviously not from Texas," or they were saying, "Well, at least you live up in Tennessee now," blah blah, all that stuff. But
Oh yeah,
no,
you
for
want to get
whatever
hate?
reason,
That's
we
all you
just
gotta do.
yeah, I know. No, in my family, we just always put beans in it, but I'm not. I won't argue as much about it as like Rich O'Toole will. He takes that pretty seriously. But I love it. I love seeing his chili posts. They're pretty funny.
Oh yeah, man. He just posted one today, I think.
Really?
Actually.
I know it's
Yeah.
like every day. It's funny how that's become like one of his, little shticks.
hmm That and
But hey,
tacos.
whatever works.
Oh yeah, he was our first guest actually on the show, and then we just had him
Oh,
back on again recently. That'll be coming out later this month. But
nice. Yeah, I've only I think we've talked over social media and gone back and forth about food and stuff before, but I think I've only ran into him in person actually once. He was at our show at the Hideout in Houston last year, so I got to talk to him for a little bit. He's a cool dude.
yeah, man, he's cool. He's a good Twitter follow too.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
he's entertaining on the socials
yeah.
for sure. um, so going back to food, when you're out playing shows or maybe on the road, you say you travel a lot and stuff. What's your go-to gas station snack? You walk into a gas station. What are you grabbing?
Good question. I'm honestly like a chips guy, so I'll get either
Right.
like hot Cheetos or like I like those lemon Lay's chips.
Oh yeah, like
Um,
the
the
ones with
dill
the
pickle
tahini are
Lay's
good.
chips, yeah, yeah, really any of the chips and stuff. Then I'll typically get like a Slim Jim, something like that. But lately I've been trying to be a little bit better health wise, so I've been getting like some almonds lately, some cheese stick, boring stuff. But
Right.
the calories add up pretty fast on the road, so
Oh yeah, man. Especially with Whataburger stops.
I know. Yeah, I know. Luckily, that's what I've probably lost some weight since I moved up to Tennessee because we only had a handful of Whataburgers up here, but none of them are near us. And
Yeah, man.
so I was actually just back home this past weekend, and my little brother walked in the door, and I was like, "Get back in your truck! You're taking my ass to Whataburger because I haven't had it in like a month."
Yeah, man. I can't imagine living in a state that doesn't have Whataburger. I mean, first half of my life lived out in Charlotte, North Carolina for a long time, and there's no
Okay.
Whataburger out there. But after living here, all of high school up to now, again, I'm like I can't imagine living somewhere where there's not
Yeah,
a Whataburger. It's so good, man.
I know we've got one. I guess maybe I'm being a two percenter because we do have one that is, I guess, the next kind of big town over because we live out in Franklin actually, so south of Nashville. So there's one in Murfreesboro, which is the next big town to our east, and it's about 38 minutes to the Whataburger. I just haven't made the 38-minute
Dang.
drive over there yet. So
Yeah, that's over an hour round trip though, man.
yeah, exactly. I know. Like I said, depends how bad I want it, I guess.
Yeah, how bad you want it, right? But what's the craziest thing that you've experienced or seen while you've been out on the road, either at a show or just traveling, whatever you're willing to share?
Oh man, that's a good question. I've never really thought about it. Craziest thing I've ever seen. I don't know. We've seen just a lot of fights. I guess probably, well, probably the craziest thing I've ever seen. This was years ago now, but at a show, there was a big fight that broke out in front of us, and this kid got knocked pretty good. And so after the show, we go in the bathroom, and there's the paper towel holder that was ripped off the wall. There's blood all over the walls in the sink everywhere. So we
Yikes.
started asking about what happened, to the managers and stuff because cops got called the whole thing, but we never quit playing. And
Yeah.
turns out it was like a somewhat of a family there together. And so the guy who got punched was the son. The mom was dating the guy who punched the son, and the mom ended up leaving the son in the ambulance by himself to go home with the dude that punched her son in the face. So we're
Oh
like, what
my gosh!
the hell?
Wow. Yeah. So there's still some unknown there.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
what?
I don't know, but yeah, just I don't know, really just a lot of fights, and then obviously a lot of drunk people. So I get people, old women, ask to take pictures of my butt all the time. Um, signing weird stuff. I had a dude, he had me sign his arm, which anytime I sign somebody's skin, I'm always like, yeah, I'll do it, but you got to get it tattooed. And they laugh, and of course they never do it. Well, I told this kid, and he's like, all right, I'll do it. And I was like, okay. So I signed his arm. He had no other tattoos on his arm, and whatever, thinking he's bullshitting me. And about 45 minutes later, he sent me a DM on Twitter of
No.
him at a tattoo shop getting my signature tattooed on. And yeah, he had drank quite a bit, so I'm sure he woke up that next morning in a bit of
Well,
regret. And I felt bad because I also kind of
This
scribbled
thing.
it on there. I didn't even take time to do it, like nice and neat. So yeah, if he hears this, I apologize.
Oh man, that's funny. So was that the first Hayden Haddock tattoo that you were aware of?
That was, other than mine, I've got my logo tattooed on me, and then we just had we have a lady that her and her friends became big fans. I don't know, a couple of years ago, and they follow us around quite a bit, and
Right.
she had asked me for the PDF of my logo, so she actually just came to the show this past weekend in Dallas, and she had got my logo and name tattooed on her shoulder. So
That's cool.
they're out there. Are
Yeah.
you next?
I don't know. I'm a fan, but I don't know if I don't know if I want it tatted on there. I just
I'll forgive
I'm
you
a
for that.
wuss though. I'm a wuss. I don't know if I'll get a tattoo, man. Be honest
Yeah, I
when it
used to
comes to
say that too, and now I've got an uncountable amount.
that. I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe someday we'll see. But so back at A&M, I, I hear mention of it in some of your songs. But do you ever spend any time at Harry's or the Tap or any places like that?
Oh yeah, you know it. Yeah, you know how that goes. Yeah, no, we spent many hours and lots of money in those bars. Yeah, and there's definitely stories there can't talk about, but no, that was great time. And anytime we go back to College Station, we always try to make a pit stop in there if we have time. Bring back some memories.
Oh yeah, man.
But no, I'm hoping we've actually played Harry's
Yeah.
two or three times, I think. So I'm hoping this next year to get back over there. It's always a good time playing over there, and obviously being back around that College Station area.
Yeah, man. Um, do you have a favorite song that you have written or co-written?
Man, yeah, we have a ton of new music that we just got done recording. And so obviously this is probably kind of a bad answer because it's not out yet, so people can't go listen to it, but it'll be out soon. But it's a song me and my producer Trent Willman, we wrote together, and we wrote this song together um, probably 2.5 years ago, something like that. And
Right.
we've kind of just been sitting on it because like, it was one of those deals. Like as soon as we wrote it, um, we just kind of looked at each other and we were like, "All right, yeah, that's like a pretty good song." And trust me, you don't do that every time you write a song. And
Right.
and so we knew it was going to be something good, and so we think it's going to be a real good song for my career. And we play it live at our shows, and we have been for maybe 6 months now. And then I just put a
Mhm.
video of it out on social media, just a little acoustic song or a little acoustic video of it. It's called "Keep Me Up." So you can go listen to it after we get off here if you want.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, just lyrically, it came out really well, and the studio produced version is very got a good vibe to it. Kind of something we haven't done before, different sounds. So, anyways, I think it'll be good. But yeah, it's just got some great lines in it and some great metaphors and stuff that
Oh yeah.
we were just being creative that day, I guess.
The creative juices were flowing.
Exactly. Yeah, or the whiskey. I don't know. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Well, what's the difference?
Yeah.
um, but What's your favorite live concert or show that you've ever been to as a fan? Was it that first one or that you
Yeah,
were?
I would. Yeah, I would say. Honestly, yeah, that probably that Kenny Chesney concert as a whole, obviously with Eric Church, as I talked about earlier, and then Kenny, man, he's hard to beat
Yeah.
live. I don't know if you've ever seen him live, but that dude, I think even today at whatever 50 something years old, whatever he is,
Right.
he's still just a ball of energy and runs around that whole stage from first song to the last song, and
Always in a
man,
good
the
mood.
crowd just yeah, always in a good mood, or so it seems. Crowd's
Yeah,
always
yeah,
singing
so
at
it
the top of
seems.
their lungs, and when you have whatever it is, 50,000 people screaming every single word the dude says back to him, it's pretty inspiring and pretty cool. But yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say yeah, Kenny Chesney, Eric Church, and then obviously Cody Johnson concerts are real fun. He's another one of those. I love the high energy concerts.
Yeah.
I love people that move around the stage, and so that's what I've tried to do at our shows. It's kind of crafted after some of those guys like Cody, Kenny, whatever. Because obviously it just adds a whole other entertainment factor rather than if you just kind of stand at your mic the whole time. Which
Yeah.
again, I guess if you're George Strait, you can do it, but I know I can't sing like George Strait, so I gotta pull out some other
Yeah.
tactics.
Well, I mean, George Strait's getting up there in age. He can do whatever he wants now.
Yeah, yeah, he's the king,
It's-
man. He's the king.
yeah, I saw him at the Houston Rodeo a couple years ago when he came and did the full length concert there.
Yeah,
And that was incredible. It was way up at the top, but still, just the energy in the arena and just
yeah,
he still sounds the same, man. And he's like
yeah,
70 something years old up
yeah.
there
We
just jamming.
we saw him shoot. Now I can't remember what year it was, but it was it was back when he announced that he was retiring, and it was supposed to
Yeah,
be his final
retiring.
concert. So me and my
Cowboy
whole
Stadium.
family went. Yeah, we went and saw him at Cowboy Stadium and paid all this money for these tickets for good seats too. And the next year he's like, "I'm back," and you're like, "Okay, cool." He's like still touring, so
Yeah,
that was cool. But no, it was still cool to see him, and that was the show that he brought out like all kinds of people to sing with him. Eric Church was there, Jason Aldean,
yeah,
like Sheryl Crow, I think. There was like Kenny Chesney. Yeah, there was like 8 or 10 like big name artists that he kept bringing
yeah.
out to sing with him. So it was pretty cool.
Well, he's doing a few shows next year with Chris Stapleton, I think, as
I
well,
saw
and that's
that.
going to
Yeah,
be
it's like
incredible.
seven stadiums. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
yeah, Chris Stapleton and like Little Big Town or something like that, if
Mm,
I remember right. Yeah,
it's
that'd be
pretty
cool to
cool.
go to.
But what's the coolest venue that you've ever played, and what are some venues that you would love to play at someday?
Man, I would say probably my favorite venue that we've played has been John T. Floor's Country Store in Helotes, Texas. That place, we were lucky enough. We played out there with Steve Warner. We opened up for him, and so we were on the big outdoor stage, and
Hmm.
it was just under a sold out crowd. So I think it was about 2,500 people there, or 2,000, something like that. A lot of
Wow.
people.
Yeah.
So the vibe and everything was just awesome, and the green room at that place is great, and they treated us like kings. We got to eat their famous tamales and all that
Tamales, right?
stuff, and
Yeah.
again, so just everything as a whole. The staff at the venue, the stage, the green room, the crowd, the show. That's probably been my favorite. Um, and then obviously, in terms of kind of some of the bucket list stuff, obviously playing arenas and stadiums, that's cool. But I would say number one is probably, well, I guess tied maybe would be Grand Ole Opry and then Red Rocks. Red Rocks is kind of
Yeah.
you know,
I
that's
think Red
awesome. I've
Rocks
never
is kind
been
of a
there.
yeah.
Yeah, I've never been there, but just seen pictures
Me
and
neither.
heard from people how great it is. So I'd say Red Rocks is probably tied up there with the Grand Ole Opry. Yeah.
Just the scenery of that place is just
Oh
incredible.
yeah, and then
It's
it's
just
like everything like built into the
into
into
like
the
the side of the
mountain or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah, yeah, it's
It's
pretty cool.
crazy.
And I guess like from like backstage, like the green room to the stage, I guess it's like a tunnel basically that's built into the into
Yeah.
the
I wonder.
mountain. Yeah. So, anyways, it just looks really cool, and then obviously it's super famous, iconic venue. So hopefully one day.
What's your opinion on what you would categorize your genre as? Um, would you say that you're Texas country or red dirt? Would you just say you're country? or do you not really have a genre? You're just kind of doing your own thing.
No, I think for a long time, and I guess I mean still to this day, I guess people will just say Texas country because obviously from Texas and
Right.
mainly touring in Texas and blah blah blah. But I don't really want to be considered a Texas country artist because I feel like it makes it seem like you can't get out of Texas. And that is, again, love Texas to the day I die. That will always be home. But I want my music and my career to be further than Texas. I want to be international. So I
Right.
would just qualify it as country music. And then my thing, is just it's more of on your traditional side again, like a Cody Johnson, like a John Party, and then obviously some of Randall King, Wynn Williams, all those guys. I think we're all trying to accomplish the same thing, which is kind of keep country music alive. So yeah, I would just call it good old country music.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. A lot of times people get caught up in the genre and where
Yeah,
people are from and all of that different stuff. I mean, it's like
yep,
all that really matters is that you like the sound.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. I know.
whatever it
Hey,
is doesn't matter. If people like it, then
yeah.
it's like
Hey,
it's you're doing something right.
yeah, if you'll stream my music and come to my shows and buy a ticket, you can call it whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly, man. Um, and who are some of your favorite artists today? Maybe from other genres outside of country music.
Oh man, I'm gonna be honest. I don't listen to too much outside, but I will say, based off my brothers, I do like some Post Malone sometimes.
Oh yeah,
I will do that,
he's
and
talented,
then
man.
yeah, and then I'm a big. I do like some rock stuff, but some of the older stuff, so like Metallica and all that.
Mm.
Some of that stuff, I'll just put it on a playlist when I'm working out or whatever.
Oh yeah, get you hyped
Um,
up.
but yeah, I don't know. Other than that, I just hear stuff on like playlist. And then I like weird stuff too. Like, and I know you asked about, I guess like artists who I guess are more relevant nowadays. But like, I don't know if you know who like James Blunt is, but he's like a British singer, I think, and you would know a couple of his songs. He's got that song like "You're Beautiful" and
Oh yeah.
something else. But anyway, like I like that type of stuff. I don't know. I like a little bit of everything.
Hmm. Well, then you got to be well versed to be in
Yeah.
music. You know what I mean? You listen to a little bit of some other
I
stuff.
try to be, but I'm bad about like in the truck. I just put on like a '90s country playlist, and
Yeah.
so I'm trying to be better as of late, listening to other stuff or newer artists and stuff like that.
Well, it's hard to keep up with everything. Plus, then you got all the stuff that you're already listening to, and it's just
Yeah, yeah.
there's a lot of new music come out lately. But um, what are some things you consider hobbies or that you're passionate about outside of music?
Man, I love to cook. Like I love to barbecue and grill. So I love smoking briskets, ribs, doing that whole barbecue thing, and then just grilling steaks on the charcoal grill. That's something I love. I don't know if you've seen any of my. I do a bunch of videos on my Instagram or reels or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, we do that a lot. And then I love fishing and hunting. I wish I had more time to get out and do that stuff. Hoping to make some more time this year for all that is the goal. Um,
Like those
but
guys like Parker and Co. that
oh yeah, I
tour all
know
year
they're
and then just
always
take
out
off
there.
for hunting season.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could do that.
Understand every day, man.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could do that. But yeah, we're gonna try to do some hunting up in Louisiana over Thanksgiving this year. So finally making some time because my brother, he one of my older brothers, he goes like duck hunting, deer hunting, deer lease, all this stuff all the time. And for the
Yeah,
past like 3 years, he invites me every year, or I'll have friends, that will invite me. And
yeah.
I'm like, I got a show, or hey, I'm traveling, sorry, and I can never take the time to take off because I always feel bad taking off for stuff like that. But this year I decided
Right.
to treat myself a little bit.
Yeah. Um, and then we talk a lot of music, and we also obviously we're gonna talk we talk A&M on this podcast a lot too. Uh, thoughts on the A&M football right now
I don't
after
even want to
a
talk
couple of
about
losses.
it. No, it's tough. That's it. Yeah, we talked a little bit before we got on here. I've always said it's because I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan and I'm a Texas A&M fan, and
Oh yeah,
it is two very tough teams to be fans of. And we get a lot of crap talked to us about it. But no, I don't know. A&M, I don't know if I go back and forth if I think Jimbo's the problem or if I think the team's the problem. But I don't know what it is, man. But it's definitely difficult because again, it's like the Cowboys. I feel like every year we're like, all right, we're going to be really good, and then
Yeah.
we'll start out strong and then just fade out. But I don't know.
Well,
I thought we played decent against Bama. If our O line would pick it up, we'd be all right. But they look like a JV team playing
Tennessee.
varsity.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then yeah, I mean, just seeing then I see around on social media, I see people like talking bad about Max Johnson. I'm like, well, the dude didn't have any time to throw the ball. He's getting
yeah.
hit
I
on
don't.
every
I think.
play. Like,
Yeah, no. I think he's doing all he can do. Yeah,
yeah,
that's definitely
like
not fair because the O line I think is honestly the biggest problem. And
I
I haven't
know,
had too much time to watch every game like play by play, but from the
right?
little bits and pieces I have watched, that seems to
It's
be
bad.
a very big factor.
No, and I think it's kind of like I think it's almost like it's an internal issue or something at A&M because it's like he Jimbo's got close to the same record that Sumlin did when Sumlin was
Yeah,
there, and it just makes you think like we get all this top level talent that comes in, and then there's something internally going on
yeah.
that isn't
I was gonna say it's
it's
not
holding us
the
back.
definitely not the talent. I think the past like 2 or 3 years we've had the top two or
Yeah,
three recruiting class, something like that. So it's definitely
doesn't
not that we
matter if
don't
you
have
can't
the
do anything with them though.
exactly. Yeah. I don't know
Yeah,
what the answer is for that program, but hopefully, something happens soon. I just don't know what because they kind of have everything that they need. It's just like it's not working. So,
but
but
in
hey,
my
that's why
next
I'm not getting paid all this money to work for A&M. So,
all I know is that my next career, I want to be a fired college football coach that gets bought
yeah,
out, man.
I know exactly. Yeah,
Because get paid, $100 million to go away, basically, or
yeah.
70 million, whatever it is. His
I know that
contract's
was
at
like when
80.
Coach O was getting bought out from LSU or whatever it was, and yeah,
Yeah,
in that interview, and they're like, well, their buyout for you would be like 17 million, and he's like, where's the door?
yeah. Like, oh my gosh, yeah, man. It's like you get paid that much money to get fired, basically. Like, okay, I
Yeah,
quit. You don't even got to
I
fire
don't
me. I
know.
quit. Give me the money.
No one seems to think that they're going to buy Jimbo out, which I think you give him maybe another couple seasons, and then
Yeah, I don't
then a
know.
lot of people are saying like, well, if Jimbo had a healthy Connor Wigman, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
I mean, there's all this stuff obviously on Twitter, but I
sure,
don't
but it's
know.
just,
But then
just
again, I
how
mean,
many times can you be let down?
Yeah, I don't know. Connor Wigman doesn't solve your O line problem though either, so it doesn't matter who's back there.
No, and then it's people are like, well, we should get a new offensive line coach. It's like, well, you're replacing everyone around Jimbo, but it's
Yeah,
still the same. I don't know. It's hard to tell though because the offense did look better at the beginning of the season.
yep,
It's infinite problems.
yep. I have no
Infinite
clue.
problems.
Again,
And
tough to
then
be an A&M fan.
yeah, tough to be an A&M fan. Really, most teams in Texas have a tough time with their fandom. I
I
mean, the
know it's
Astros
like
have had some good seasons, but
I know it's like a
Astros
Texas
fandom.
curse or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because you think about even over in Austin, the Longhorns, the same thing. They get the
Yeah.
same kind of hype every year, and then
Yep.
comes
Yep.
crashing and burning down. Um, I guess not this year yet, but hopefully, right? Hopefully, it'll come
Yeah.
crashing
Well.
down.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll see.
but what I wanted to ask you next was, do you have anything that you want to announce or promote on the show? Any new releases or shows coming soon that you want to talk
Yeah,
about?
man. So show wise, I mean, yeah, we tour pretty much every weekend. We're on the road every weekend. So the easiest thing, obviously, follow me on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, all that. We're having Facebook issues right now. My Facebook actually got hacked, so we're in the
Oh
middle
no.
of trying to prove to Facebook that I am me. But that'll be back up and running soon. Other than that, go to my website, haydenhaddock.com. You can find all my tour dates on there. And then we haven't even announced this yet, but I'm going to announce it on here. Our newest single, it's called He Sings for Mary. It will be coming out November 10th. So again, if you go follow me on social media, we'll get up a pre-save link and all that stuff here shortly. And we would appreciate it. Other than that, like I said, go follow me on social media, and we hope to see everybody at a show soon.
Yeah, awesome. Well, and you said November 10th is the planned
Yes.
date for that one. Well, that should be perfect. I think we're planning on this one dropping right at the beginning of November, so
Perfect. I
that
didn't
should
think to
time
ask
out
you
good with
about that, but hey, look at there.
But yeah, or we can schedule it whenever if you want, but
Whatever,
I
it's
think
fine
that's
with me.
where it'll slot in.
Cool.
But this has been the Red Dirt Aggie Show. I'm Brian, the Red Dirt Aggie. That over there is Hayden Haddock. Thanks for coming by, hanging out today, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
man.
you taking the time to be on.
Absolutely.
Um,
Thank you for having me on.
but as always, gig 'em and God bless. This has been the Red Dirt Aggie Show. Thanks for watching or listening, and we'll see you next time.